another treat today. And storytelling is bringing history to life as part of our storytelling. Folklore has been passed down through generations based on storytelling. So to tell a story about living in the jungle for 30 years is a very eloquent and a very graceful person that you'll all enjoy, Debbie Hallgard.
May I ask a question before you continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it 12 minutes?
7 to 9 minutes.
It's 7 to 9 minutes.
Got it, thank you.
Yes, no,
With
not 12
no
minutes,
question and
please.
answers.
No 12.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shoki Yokoi. I am a Japanese war veteran. I was born and raised in central Japan. When I was a young adult, I became a tailor. And when the war started, the World War II started, I was drafted into the Army, and I went and fought in Guam. I have notes with me because I want to make sure I cover all the details that are important to me for you to understand who I am. In Japanese culture, you do not surrender. It is shameful. You have to fight to the death or commit suicide so as not to be captured. Well, when we were in Guam, myself and about 1,000 other soldiers hid in the jungle rather than be captured. We didn't commit suicide because we were able to hide. However, over the next 2 years, all of the other soldiers were either captured, which was shameful, or they died of illness or disease or starvation. And I was left all alone in the jungles of Guam. Now I knew the war had ended, but I did not want to surrender, so I hid. 30 years is a long time. I had to provide my own food, I had to provide my own shelter, I had to provide my own clothing. Luckily, I was a tailor, so I sort of had that one covered. Water was no problem. Lots of water in Guam, in the jungle. But I always boiled that water just to make sure that I would not get sick. Food was very important. I have to eat every day, we all do. Otherwise, we will die. There were lots of mangoes, lots of nuts, lots of coconuts for me to eat. But I cannot survive on just that. So I was able to devise traps out of scraps of metal that I found in the jungle. And I would set them in the river. And I would catch crabs and prawns and eels. And on land, I would set my traps and would catch small animals like frogs and pigeons and rats. Ooh, you say. Well, I'll tell you, rats is one of my favorite foods, especially the livers of rats. It's like a delicacy, and I'm sorry that you're all eating, but oh well. However, I also did not have matches with me. So I found a broken lens of some binoculars and was able with the sun to start fires. And that was very good. But then I also learned how to use sticks. And I did find coals. So I always tried to keep a coal hot, and I carried it in a pouch with me so I wouldn't have to rub the sticks together because that takes a lot of time. But I was able to cook my food, which was excellent. As far as shelter goes, I could have slept on the ground, but then I'd be prey to animals. I could have slept in the trees, could have fallen out. I did create 2 kinds of shelters for myself over the 30 years. I created a rush house, which was above ground, but I was more likely to be found that way. So I had found an old cannon shell, and I was able to cut it in half very slowly. And with that, I dug a cave for myself under a bamboo grove. Now the bamboo grove, the reason I chose that was because I knew the land was very secure and I knew my cave would not fall in. It took me a month of digging and carrying those handfuls of dirt and scattering them all over the place so nobody would know I was digging to create my cave. But I must say, if you were standing next to the entrance, you wouldn't even know it was there. So I felt very safe there. I dug 8 feet down into the earth, and I had a bamboo ladder that I could climb down with. And then I hollowed out a cavern for myself, and I lived there. Well, actually, I squatted there because the cavern was only 3 feet deep, and so I had to always sit or crawl when I was in it, but I was secure. I even created a bathroom in that little cave, and I dug a hole so that all the way down to the river. And actually, it was as good, as competent a use as a flush toilet. I was sort of proud of that. I had a little kitchen on one side. I had found an old canteen that I cut in half, and I used 1/2 as a fry pan and 1/2 as my plate. Eventually, though, as I was setting my traps in the river one day, 2 American soldiers found me, and they captured me, and they took me back to the Guam police, who eventually sent me back to Japan. Well, I was embarrassed and ashamed that I had been caught, but I was very perplexed because when I got home, I was treated as a hero. I don't understand that. Why was I a hero? Well, they explained to me that even though I was captured, this is the new Japan, and it is no longer shameful. And everyone was amazed that I spent 30 years without detection in the jungle. Well, I have a new life to begin. But I don't understand some of these things. What is this television set? These jet airplanes that go so fast? I've never seen that. And atomic weapons? What happened to old-fashioned guns? I have a lot to learn in this new society. And with a lot of luck and a lot of prayers from all of you, I hope to be very happy again in this new Japan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen. Great job.